The following incident occurred in 1977 at an undisclosed location in West Virginia. A boy growing up in a farming community in West Virginia had called his parents to tell them that he was staying at his grandparents'. The witness recalled that his grandfather was agitated about something and, over supper, asked him if he saw any strange animals in the area. The witness hadn't, so the grandfather alerted him to the fact that there was a predator on the loose and that he should be cautious. Before bed that same evening, the witness observed his grandfather sitting by the living room window with a gun. The grandfather told him to lock the windows in his room. The witness assumed there was a bear or coyote running around. The witness went to sleep but was woken up by a sound sometime later. He opened his eyes and looked at the window. He saw nothing. He eventually got up and went into the living room where he saw his grandfather sleeping in a chair by the window with a gun at his side. The witness went into the bathroom to get some water. When he came back out, he heard something growling. To him it sounded like it was coming from the window the grandfather was sleeping in front of. As he approached the window, he noticed that it was open 2 or 3 inches, just enough to get a gun through it. The witness looked and saw nothing. He then went to get some candy from a bowl in the living room, and that's when he observed a claw coming in through the window, palm facing down, as if it was going to push the window up. The witness clearly saw 3 fingers. The middle finger was the longest. Years later, he claimed the fingers reminded him of the claws of the creature in Krampus, specifically the scene where he pointed his finger into the woman's face. He screamed in fright, which woke up the grandfather. The creature also screamed. The grandfather went into fight mode and proceeded to hit the creature's fingers with his gun. The witness grabbed a knife from nearby and also stabbed at the fingers. At that moment, the grandmother rushed into the room and turned on the outside light, which lit up the yard. The witness could see the creature clearly standing in the window. He even looked into its eyes. The creature took off running just as the grandfather raised his gun to shoot it. According to the witness, the creature appeared to be angry and was growling as it ran. The witness acknowledged that he had wet himself during the exchange. At some point, the grandmother stated that the creature had returned. "It's back," she said, which surprised the witness. They proceeded to tell him that the creature had been seen around the property 3 years earlier but had left. They assumed it had been killed. It had only started appearing again some 2 weeks earlier. This upset the witness as he had been playing on the property and should have been alerted to it. The grandparents told him that in 1974, the grandfather was in a deer stand bow hunting when a strange creature attempted to climb the tree and enter the stand through a door latch. The grandfather shot at it and stabbed at it, but it never stopped coming. Eventually it attempted to poke its nose through the opening in the stand. That's when the grandfather stabbed it in the nose. It managed to get a paw through and slashed the leg of the grandfather. The creature fled after that. The scar was visible on the nose of the creature standing at the window. As well, the grandfather also had his scar on his leg. The grandfather claimed he waited in the stand for 3 hours before feeling safe enough to climb down and leave. Within 2 weeks of the window encounter, numerous farm animals began turning up dead. The grandfather became worried and began driving the grandson to the school bus and picking him up when he returned. 2 weeks later, the witness remembered the grandfather failed to show up. He walked home and assumed the grandfather had simply forgotten. As he entered the barn, he found the grandfather dead. He had been killed. The witness could not bring himself to go into detail about it. Later, the police determined that he had been attacked by an unknown animal. Within 2 weeks, the grandmother left the property and never returned. She passed away in 2010. The state claimed the property for unpaid taxes.
Now policemen in the streets, I chase down robbers and thieves, but it's the innocent ones